Growing up, most of us were handed a specific financial script. Buy a house as soon as you can, because it is the best investment you will ever make, and renting is throwing money away. Getting the keys to a house serves as a public declaration of stability. Society treats this moment as the finish line of adulthood, the ultimate proof that you have settled down and achieved success. The problem starts when we take that emotional milestone and treat it as a mathematical equation. Because we crave the validation of making it, we rarely stop to check the math behind the assumption. We accept the premise because we want the emotional reward to be justified. When everyday people talk about real estate wealth, they rely on a calculation that only uses two inputs. They look at what they paid for a property, compare it to what they eventually sell it for, and call the difference profit. A homeowner buys a starter home for $300,000, holds onto it for 2 decades, and eventually sells it for $500,000. They look at that extra $200,000 and see a massive financial win. Try evaluating a stock portfolio that way. If you ignored brokerage fees, capital gains taxes, decades of inflation, and the continuous holding costs, the math would be considered a fantasy. Yet the primary metric used to measure the success of the largest purchase of our lives operates on exactly that logic. To understand why this blind spot exists, we have to look past the individual homebuyer. The housing market is a multi-trillion-dollar ecosystem designed to keep itself moving. Every time a property changes hands, an army of industries gets paid. Banks issue mortgages, agents collect percentages, developers build communities, while insurance firms and local municipalities collect ongoing premiums and taxes. These entities thrive on the public belief that homeownership creates wealth. Your purchase triggers a predictable transfer of capital directly into their sectors. The idea that buying is always superior to renting persists as a self-sustaining marketing campaign. It gets repeated everywhere because it benefits everyone at the table, except the person holding the mortgage. That $200,000 of supposed profit we looked at earlier is actually a pool of capital. It is the wealth this ecosystem is built to extract over the life of your loan. Let's put that paper gain through a forensic audit. We will start with that $200,000 profit and deduct the actual unavoidable costs of holding a typical 30-year property. First, we have to account for the cost of borrowing. Over 3 decades, a standard mortgage will consume hundreds of thousands of dollars purely in interest payments. Next, we subtract the carrying costs. You are required to pay property taxes and insurance premiums every single year just to maintain legal ownership of the asset. Then there is the physical decay of the house itself. Replacing roofs, fixing plumbing, and general upkeep create an invisible drain of 1 to 2% of the home's value annually. Finally, we hit the heaviest toll of all, opportunity cost. This is the compound interest that your initial down payment and your maintenance expenses could have earned if placed in a standard index fund. By the end of 30 years, the wealth didn't vanish into thin air. It was methodically distributed throughout the real estate ecosystem, leaving the homeowner at a break-even point. Stepping away from the math of the audit allows us to see homeownership for what it really is. Homeownership belongs in the category of lifestyle and consumption. You are purchasing a place to live. It is an expense, distinct from the wealth-building strategies suggested by the industry. Financial truths do not become true simply because industries spend billions of dollars repeating them. They only become true when the hard numbers support the claim. When you separate the emotional desire of having a place of your own from the reality of your balance sheet, you regain your financial independence. You get to decide where your money goes. Buy a house because you genuinely want a home to live in. Just don't do it because an industry convinced you it was an investment.